Hello. Today I'm gonna do my grief share again. Um, again, I don't know if you've been able to see my previous videos, but what I'm trying to do is kind of take take my story and my grief and talk about it in a way that um, I call grief share. Grief share is something that churches do, but um, it's not really um, the right kind of situation that I feel like is um, helpful to the most people. So I'm just trying to kind of make it my own thing. But anyway, if you see this and you ever feel like sharing your story, your grief share, I would really like to hear it in the comments. So um, I don't want to make it seem like I just always talking about myself. I'm just hoping that my story can help you. But anyway, so what I'm dealing with this week is, well, not just this week. I've dealt with it the past few months. Ever since God told me to have a child, it's kind of created a different mindset. Maybe there shouldn't be so much fear around having a child. Um, I don't know what it was like for my parents, for example. I doubt it was quite what I'm experiencing it because I really don't want to have a child, but uh, I've I've actually seen a lot of people. I've joined a group called Trying to Conceive, and I've actually seen a lot of people going through the same kind of struggles. Whether you want a baby or not, it's kind of a similar path, I guess. Which I still think is different than the previous generation, but anyway, I'm mostly trying to focus on myself. It's the biggest struggles I have are feeling like there's a lot of course, sacrifices that I have to make. I guess you could say physically. There's a lot of trying to find out when you're pregnant, just to I guess be aware of, it's a life-changing thing, as far as your body's concerned. So you're just really trying to be more aware of what's going on. So I'll try to explain a little bit, like, excuse me. There's um there's a whole different mentality, like I was saying, to trying to conceive, and I hate to use that term because, like, I'm not really trying, but I do try to be aware of what's going on with my body more now than I used to be. On birth control, you just you just take a pill and that's it. But now I kind of have to be aware of, like, um, well, I mean, I don't have to be. I hate to say it like that. It's just I'm trying to be aware of, like, for example, there's a window of, like, ovulation that you kind of try to keep track of, and then there's something called a 2 week wait after you ovulate. Um, so, like, if you're pregnant, you have to wait 2 weeks to find out if you're pregnant before your period. Um, and maybe this is more than you wanted to know, but um, these are just things that I'm trying to be aware of, and can be kind of a stress because, you know, I mean, you can't help but kind of pay attention to it. You know, I don't know if more people say that more knowledge is power. I don't know if that's true. Sometimes I think fear goes along with it. But at the same time, I like being aware of the things that are going on in my body. Um, but like I said, it tends to create some fear too. But there's just steps that you take and things you do differently when you're when you're, I guess, expecting a baby, not on birth control, I guess I'll say it that way. Um, so what I'm really dealing with now is the kind of roller coaster of emotions that kind of go into it. You know, the thing I call a 2 week wait, which is something that we talk about in the groups that I'm in. Um, it can be stressful. I mean, it's kind of like during ovulation that's your time to try. And then for 2 weeks you have to wait and see, are you pregnant or not? And it's just stressful. It's a roller coaster of emotions. I mean, I wish it was something I could just relax about. And maybe over time it does get better. But it's, you just, um, it's a big stress. I mean, are you pregnant or not? And when you get pregnant, um, you have to just do so many things differently. I mean, well, that's what I want to do. Not everybody does that, but a lot of people talk about how it's something that, can really make you change the way you think, the way you act, definitely the things you're going to put in your body. I mean, the sooner I know that that's happened to me, pregnancy, the sooner I can make better choices. And you're probably thinking, well, maybe you should make better choices now. Well, it's not that simple because, um, I mean, we all go through a lot of stress. We all go through a lot of things. I still struggle a lot with the, I guess, PTSD that I go through, things like that. And I know it sounds bad, but I still have to cope sometimes with sweets and things that I shouldn't eat. So, I have a plan to do things differently once I get pregnant, and so, there's a lot of anticipation and a lot of wondering. Fortunately, um, I don't think it's too bad as bad for me because I'm not actually wanting the child, but at the same time, um, God's told me to have one, so I kind of feel like it can help me in some ways. So, so when I find out that I'm not pregnant, I get some relief, and then sometimes I get, I mean, it's not very much, but a very small letdown because it's like, oh, well, I have to go through all this again in a month, another month. And there's people that have talked about it takes them, sometimes years to get pregnant, and I don't really want to wait years. I mean, not that I want a baby now, but it's a lot to go through for years, wondering if you're going to be pregnant this month or not, and and I think they say that, by the time you get to my age, um, you can have more problems, trying to conceive and stuff like that. So, um, it's not very comforting. It's just all a very stressful thing to go through. So, now don't get me wrong, there's much worse things that I've been through, and this is nothing compared to it, but um, I just kind of want to, um, I guess, talk about the stress that it can put on you. Um, I think a lot of people feel like it's it's more stressful than I even feel it is because they want a baby so bad. So I've seen a lot of people in the groups that I'm in talk about that. Um, but I really just want to talk a little bit about this because like I've been through a lot of different things and I've heard people talk about how hard it is when you can't have a baby. Specifically, I have a couple friends that were talking about how they had been trying for years, even to the point of having to adopt and in vitro fertilization, things like that. And I don't think that I would go that route unless God told me, but um, I know that they went that route and it was very difficult for them. So um, I guess I feel like I'm starting to understand more of what people have gone through with that. I never wanted to have a child, so I never really took the time to try to understand what people like that felt like. I remember thinking, well, um, I'd hear somebody talk about how, oh, they'd struggle for years to have a kid, and I was like, I had no, well, I don't want to say I didn't have any sympathy. I didn't have any understanding, so I couldn't, I remember I just couldn't really, um, get on the right level of where they were coming from. I don't know if that's a better way to say it. Um, I think I struggled to feel maybe empathy for them. It's just like, well, what's the big deal? I remember thinking that, but um, I definitely understand a lot more and I can appreciate it more. Um, but anyway, I don't want to talk about that myself too much. Um, I just really want to help people understand that there's a lot to trying to conceive versus keep yourself from conceiving. And I guess help people know that you're not alone. I think that's the big reason I make these videos. I don't want people to feel like um, they have no one to talk to or share their story with. I'm happy to hear everybody's story, and definitely want to help you understand that I empathize a whole lot more with you, and I definitely understand where you're coming from if you're experiencing these things. Um, but anyway, I guess I'm gonna leave it there today, and I hope you have a good rest of the day.